I'd like to do an exercise to show you the power of words. With your feet firmly planted, shoulder width apart, can I ask you to make a fist with your right hand and bring it to the middle of your chest? So your elbow's going to be out in front, and all I would like you to do without moving your feet is turn as far as you can to the right hand side. Now, just take a picture of where you got to. You can come back to center, you can relax. So we've just done a physical exercise. I'd like to do one now for the mind. So, can I ask you to close your eyes, please? So I'd like you to visualize what we just did. Without moving, I want you to visualize your feet firm to the floor. You're making a fist with your right hand. You've brought it to the middle of your chest. Your elbows out in front. And you're visualizing you're not moving and you're twisting as far as you can to the right. But this time, your core muscles are turned on. You've pushed beyond the last time. You've gone much further. One more time, push, push, push. You've gone a full 360. And relax and open your eyes. So we've done it physical, mental. For a third and final time, can we do it one more time? Feet shoulder width apart, glued to the floor. Make a fist with your right hand, bring it to the middle of your chest, elbows out in front. And for the last time, can I get you to twist as far as you can to your right? A little bit further. And relax and come back to center. Here's a question. Can I get a show of hands who went further in round number 3? Let's go, team, let's go. So what happened? What changed between round number 1 and round number 3? The only difference was the language I used. I used words to create a picture in your mind. I coached you, I guided you, I showed that you could go further. And that's what I'd like to talk about. The power of words. Words are tools. They have the power to stop us in our tracks, and they have the power to push us beyond what we even thought possible. The problem, we don't always use words to help us. Growing up, we were taught, stay positive when times got tough. But what if I told you positivity isn't the only answer? That sometimes forcing yourself to say everything's fine is actually holding you back. And yes, optimism can be helpful, but if you're facing adversity, you've gotten some really bad news. You've made a huge mistake. You failed an exam. Telling yourself everything's great, it doesn't change the facts. Your mind knows that you're lying to yourself. Then, on the other hand, we've got negative thinking, which is even worse. It traps us in a cycle of excuses, self-doubt, fear. We assume the worst. We get that text message or email on a Friday afternoon saying, we need to talk. And our mind automatically goes to negative. I know this, we all do this. Some of the research shows that negative thinking is 4 to 7 times more powerful than positive. And when spoken aloud, it has 10 times more impact. One of the first things I tell people is, don't verbalize negativity, or stop speaking stupid. If you have nothing helpful to say nothing at all. So what's the alternative? Positive, negative? Is there a third option? That third option is neutral thinking. Neutral thinking is about seeing the situation exactly how it is. No better, no worse. It's about making a decision based on facts, not emotions. It's not about sugarcoating your reality. It's about seeing what has just happened and making the next best decision going forward. Top performers, athletes, Navy SEALs, they use neutral thinking to reset, to refocus, and perform under pressure. They don't care what has happened in the past. They focus on that next step forward. The way you speak to yourself matters. The words we use shape the way we think and act. If you tell yourself, I always mess up, I'm not good enough, your brain will start to believe it. So how can we implement neutral thinking? Number one, sounds easy, control what you consume. Your brain is constantly processing input. And if you're surrounding that with negative news, social media, toxic people, it will shape your mindset. Be very intentional about what you consume. Number two, sounds easy again, remove negative speech. If you have nothing helpful to say about somebody else, don't say it about yourself. The way you speak to yourself matters. Can I get a show of hands? Has anybody here ever heard of the SAT exam? Brilliant, brilliant. I'm sure some people in the audience have done it. I'd like to share a story about a kid who grew up in the Midwest of the United States to a single mom. And early on in his education, he was labeled by his peers and teachers, not very smart, doesn't keep up in class, very disruptive. Those words created a picture in his mind. They created a narrative that he believed. And as the story goes, he was a junior in high school, he was getting D's and F's, he was living up to that narrative. He was not going to class, not doing homework, hanging out with the wrong kids, getting into fights. He lived that narrative. But he promised his mom one thing. He said, Mom, I'm going to go and take the SAT exam. And for those of you who've never heard of the SAT exam, it's two parts. There's a theory part and there's a mathematical part. And the maximum amount of points you can get is 1,600 points. If you get anywhere near that, you are highly, highly intelligent. So as the story goes, he goes and takes the exam, expects nothing. A few weeks passed, he gets a letter in the post. He's at the kitchen table with his mom and they open up the results. It turns out he got a 1480 out of 1,600 points. They're shocked. His jaw hits the floor. His mom says, the first thing she says to his son, did you cheat? He said, Mom, no, we all got different tests. It was multiple choice. The tables were too far apart. I couldn't cheat. So from that day forward, he started to believe a different narrative. He's like, I'm intelligent. I'm smart. I see the results. So he went back to school, started showing up, going to class, doing his homework, hanging out with the right kids. Even the teachers were like, did we miss on this kid? So fast forward, he graduates community college. He goes on to an Ivy League school. Years later, he ends up being one of the most successful magazine entrepreneurs of all time. But here's the twist. 12 years after taking the exam, he gets a letter in the post from Princeton State, New Jersey. And it turns out the SAT board periodically reviewed their tests and their test-taking procedure. He was one of 13 people to get the wrong score. True story. He actually got a 740 out of 1,600 points. So think about that. What changed? Nothing about his intelligence changed. What he believed about himself changed. And what shaped that belief? A piece of paper? Numbers? Words. And that's the power of words. I would encourage you, choose your words wisely. Just be neutral. And stop speaking stupid. Thank you.